Here is an ACT problem with a crazy looking graph. Let's see what's happening. So the graph of f of x is shown below right here. What is the domain of f of x? So if you remember, domain is all possible input or the x values, whatever inputs that you can possibly make. Okay, now remember one thing, that we have to set the denominator equal to 0 in order to find where the domain is excluded, because division by 0 is not allowed, it is undefined. Okay, so let's go ahead and set the denominator as equal to 0 first. X squared minus 2x minus 3 is the denominator. We're going to set it equal to 0. Okay, and see where the x values that we need to exclude from the domain are. So let's go ahead and factor this. So we need two numbers that multiply m times n to -3, and then they add up to -2. Okay, so what those when we look at those different choices of those numbers, we see that if we do -3 and +1, they multiply to -3 and then they add up to -2. So that's going to work. So let's go ahead and split up into two parentheses here, x, and then we write our -3 and +1. So these are our factors for this quadratic equation, and that we set that equal to 0, and then we use the zero product rule, which is basically set this equal to 0 and then set this equal to 0, and then we get our two answers, x equals 3 and x equals -1. These are the values of x that are not possible in the domain. We have to exclude them from the domain. Now clearly we can see in the graph that at x is -1, we do have a vertical asymptote. That's where the graph is not crossing, so there is no domain in -1, and that's where the asymptote is. But if you notice at x equals 3, there's a hole here. It's a removable discontinuity. And what the meaning of that is, if you look here, you have x minus 3 divided by, we factored this as x minus 3, x plus 1. So the x minus 3 gets cancelled off. Okay, so it's getting removed, so it's a removable discontinuity. However, still the restriction of the domain has to be maintained, even though the x minus 3 can be removed after factoring, but it's still a domain restriction. So basically what our final answer is going to be, x is 3 and x is -1 is not included in the domain of f of x because of the vertical asymptote, and then because of this removable discontinuity. Okay, all right. Well, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.